You think you know the origin story of America. Pilgrims, Puritans, and high-minded ideals. You were taught about Boston, Philadelphia, and Jamestown. You were lied to. The true genesis of the modern American spirit, its relentless appetite for wealth, its brutal efficiency, its radical notion of self-governance, and its deep, dark tolerance for vice and shadow finance, was forged not in a quaint New England town, but in a roaring Sodom and Gomorrah metropolis built on sand, ruled by pirates, and swallowed by the sea in a single, terrifying instant. This is the story of Port Royal, Jamaica, a city so rich, so brazenly wicked, and so strategically vital that for nearly 4 decades in the 17th century, it was the single most important and terrifyingly powerful city in the entire New World. It was the unofficial capital of a clandestine empire, built on plunder and revolution, that quietly funded and protected the fragile, struggling English colonies that would one day become the United States. It was a city where 1/3 of the population worked in taverns or brothels, where a single night's debauchery could cost a buccaneer more than a colonial farmer earned in a decade, and where the most sophisticated financial instruments of the day were designed to launder gold ripped from the Spanish Main. The sheer volume of wealth that passed through its harbor was staggering. For a brief, glorious, and grotesque period, Port Royal held a greater per capita concentration of liquid gold than any city on Earth. But on the morning of June 7, 1692, at 11:43 a.m., God or geology delivered a stunning, final verdict. A catastrophic earthquake, one of the deadliest in recorded history, did not just damage Port Royal. It liquefied the very soil it was built upon, causing 2/3 of the city to crumble, slide, and vanish beneath the turquoise waters of the Caribbean, taking 5,000 people with it in less than 3 minutes. This is the untold story of the American beginning, the astonishing lives of the pirates, merchants, and secret agents who birthed the system, the unbelievable opulence they created, the shocking scientific aftermath of the city's destruction, and how the millions in sunken treasure and lost intellectual capital from the wickedest city on earth continue to influence global finance and American identity to this very day. The Spanish thorn in the English side. The year is 1655. The nascent English colonies in North America, Virginia, Massachusetts, are struggling, clinging to the edge of the continent by a fingernail. They are poor, dependent, and constantly menaced by the colossal, established power of the Spanish Empire. Spain controls the vast majority of the Americas, the gold and silver mines of Mexico and Peru, the choke points of the Caribbean trade, and a global navy that dwarfs any other European power. England, under Oliver Cromwell's iron-fisted rule, decides that survival requires a direct, frontal assault on Spanish power. This was the Western design, a grand, audacious, and wildly ambitious plan to seize a major Spanish colony and establish a permanent, well-funded English base deep in the heart of the Spanish Main. The goal was to secure a permanent supply of wealth that would finally allow England to compete and to fund the military protection that its struggling American colonies desperately needed. The target was Hispaniola, but a bungled, humiliating invasion failed disastrously. The English fleet, desperate to avoid returning home in utter disgrace, pivoted to a lesser, poorly defended island, Jamaica. On May 10, 1655, they seized the island. It was an accidental victory, but the island's location, perfectly situated to intercept the great Spanish treasure fleets sailing north from Cartagena and Portobello, was a strategic jackpot. The English instantly knew they had a weapon. The weapon needed a base. A small, defensible spit of land, known then as the Cayo de Carina, became the site of the new capital, Port Royal. It was less than a city, more a heavily fortified military installation designed for one purpose: war on the Spanish Empire.